Because today, if you go to any construction site in Nigeria, particularly in Kaduna, the masons, those that are doing the plastering are mostly from Benin Republic. We want to create a new cadre of locally trained artisans that will do basic trades like plumbing, carpentry, electrical, phone repairs, and so on. So we're addressing that track of skills. We're also taking young graduates, putting them through 3 months of training, our CAD step, and requiring them to prepare business plans of any business idea they have. And if it is bankable, they put down 10%, we give them 90% of the money to start their businesses. Many of them will die. Every year we train hundreds. I will be attending the graduation of about 300 of them next week. So we train hundreds of these, and our hope is that one of them will be the next Dangote. Not all of them will survive, many will die, but we think it's a worthy investment. And a few of them will grow to create more jobs. So we're addressing the skills problem. The second is attracting, in the short term, engaging in public works that will absorb as many people as possible into, but you can't keep on public works forever, though our infrastructure deficit is huge. So we're addressing the short term by just taking young, active people off the streets and getting them busy. But long term, we are doing two things. First, our public service is aged. The average age of the public servant in Kaduna is 43 years. It's too old. And many of them are not ICT compliant, so we have launched a public service reform and renewal program that will encourage old people like me to retire and bring in young people. There has been an embargo on employment of university graduates in the Kaduna State Civil Service since 2008. We are lifting the embargo. We have opened a portal, and we have over 1 million applications of graduates, university graduates, HND holders wishing to join our public service. Of course, we can only take a few thousand of them. But the fact that we have the database gives us an indication of what skills are available. So in the civil service, we're renewing the civil service, revitalizing it, we're equipping it, we're making it ICT compliant, we're moving towards an e-governance platform by 2019, inshallah. So we'll absorb a few there. But in the long term, the only solution to creating jobs is to have a very vibrant private sector, to have companies coming to invest and creating real sustainable jobs. And in that regard, we are addressing the textiles. I have alluded to that before. We're also doing we're encouraging a lot of investments in agro-industry. Kaduna is the largest producer of maize, soybeans, and ginger. We are contending with Kano for being #1 in tomato. We are second or third in sugar. There are many opportunities here for us to produce.
Are we going to see the state hands off at least a certain stake in many of the state-owned firms?
Yeah, we are. We've already advertised our state-owned enterprises. 3 of them. One produces tomato, another ginger, and the third one is a pharmaceutical company. We've advertised them for privatization. Our hope is that investors will come in, inject a lot of money, expand these businesses. We don't need to collect any money upfront for the investments. We expect the investors to come and dilute us down to minority shareholding and revive these industries and get them going. That is the only way to create sustainable jobs. And the state government can then make money from the taxes and other things that come with it. So that's what we are working on.
Well, it's a very bold plan you have to revitalize the civil service. It's one area that quite a number of governors don't like to touch. Do you envisage a scenario where you would be seeing protests in future, as a result of trying to edge out old people and recruit young people?
Well, we do not envisage that because we've engaged in intensive discussions with the civil servants. They see the benefits of giving way for young people to come in. I think what worries many public servants about retirement, and this is why many people go and change their age so many times, in my opinion, are 2 things. And I know this to some extent because in 2005, I led public service reform in the federal government under the Obasanjo administration. So I've experienced this a little bit. What worries most public servants when they are retiring? In the immediate term, how do I get my benefits so that, you know, I retire with dignity and use the money for something. Okay. In this state, we've inherited gratuity arrears from 2011. There are people that have retired since 2011 that have not got their gratuity. We are going to begin the payments this month as we speak. We are starting from 2011, move on to 2012 and so on. Yes, I know. 6 years. I know, but that's what we inherited. We inherited 14 billion naira of accumulated gratuity arrears and death benefits. People have died, their families have not got their benefits. So that's one real fear, and that's what makes people not wanting to go. We are addressing that because we have a contributory pension system that assures people of their benefits a month after retirement. So and we've demonstrated that, we've begun to make out these payments. So people have some confidence that the contributory pension system in Kaduna is working. The second is, where do I go? Do I have a house to retire to? And this is a big problem. And I think that the public service architecture in Nigeria is the colonial public service, in which, you know, public servants live in big government houses, and the day they leave, they have to make the decision moving from Ikoyi to Surulere, to put it in Lagos terms. Okay? This is a big problem. But what we have done in Kaduna to address that is to take 3 steps. The first, we are selling all government houses. So no public servant has any entitlement. Apart from the government house and the deputy governor's residence, we are selling all government houses.
Is that wise?
It is. I will come to that. But we are doing that because, you know, we have 36,000 civil servants at the state level. We have only 2,000 houses. Okay, so the houses were not enough anyway. They were not enough to go around. Only those that are connected and powerful get the houses. So it is not an egalitarian system. It's not a fair system. Okay. Secondly, we have worked with the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Corporation to create a mortgage system for Kaduna State. So essentially, in this state, from next month, if you can pay 10% of the value of your house, we can lend you 90% for you to pay over 15 to 20 years at 9% interest.
But you're addressing retirees. How is a mortgage going to work for them?
No. Everyone is entitled to it. Not just retirees, not just civil servants. Everyone that is resident in Kaduna can draw on this mortgage plan. Okay?
Let's talk about
we have the law. The law has been passed. The law will be passed by next week. We have put in seed funding. And we are starting with the mortgage funding of 2 billion naira. It's modest, but it's a start. Now, whoever lives in Kaduna, whether active or retired, can access this. Now, how do you pay the 10%? That's the big question. If you are in the civil service and have been contributing to the National Housing Fund, you can draw up to 5 million to pay for that. Secondly, if you're part of our contributory pension system at the federal level or in Kaduna State, you can draw up to 25% of your accrued pension, whatever is in your pensions account. You can draw up to 25% to put down a deposit for housing. It's part of the guidelines being developed by the National Pensions Commission. So even the down payment, you don't have to struggle to get it. There are ways and means of getting it. So with that, we think the concerns of people about to retire, about issues of housing, where do I live, and so on, will be addressed, because you don't need to steal a large amount of money and pay for your house at one go. You can just raise 10% through these mechanisms I've described, and 90% will be available to you. So we have been engaged in lots of discussions with the civil servants, and they see the point. They see the point of them leaving and their children taking over. If we don't do that, we'll not have a modern civil service, we'll not have an ICT-compliant public service, and the state will simply stagnate. But we are not just asking people to retire. They will go through a program of training. We'll give them opportunities to engage in entrepreneurial activities and support them with microcredit and subsidized finance so that they can get on with their lives doing something else, but not necessarily public service. So public service is for young people. I'm too old to be governor. I should have been governor at 40-something. That's the right age, because you are active, you are experienced, you can put in long hours. I know how many hours I could put in when I was Minister of FCT. I can't do that now. And we just have to find a way to give way for the younger generation. And in Kaduna, we are working on that.
That's a good point to go to break now, but we'll come back to that and listen to the concluding moments of the governor. Join us again.